There is no logic in the idea that success and heart attacks go together. But the unconscious mind is not logical, it's purposeful. And its purpose is survival, right? So you can think with your conscious mind all you want. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Your unconscious mind goes, I don't think so. And it stops you. What happens is, back in the beginning of the last century, a man called Andrew Carnegie, who was a famous self-made industrialist, big entrepreneur. He hires a guy called Napoleon Hill to go and interview and study his rich friends. And he comes back with a system which he turns into a book called Think and Grow Rich. And as I say, to this day, it's still the biggest selling self-help book. Unless you, I suppose, include the Bible or something like that. But it's the biggest selling self-help book, yeah? And that had a couple of thousand years head start, right? So, that's a different thing. So what's really interesting is Napoleon Hill dies bankrupt. Even though he sells millions and millions of books, he's a hugely successful author, he dies bankrupt. And the reason is because he didn't become rich on the inside, right? He didn't alter what I would call his wealth thermostat. And so what's really interesting is 70% of people who come into money suddenly through lottery wins or inheritance or things like that, within a few years have gotten rid of all of it. Because again, they haven't become rich on the inside. And so our session today is about altering your financial thermostat. Yeah, anybody here interested in manifesting? Yeah? Yeah. Well, today we're going to do power manifesting, right? Yeah. So, right, regular manifesting, I love it, it's great, yeah? I started doing it back in the 80s, I'd have a vision board or I'd write my goals down, and I pretty much get what I want in life, right? And I assume that's just how it worked. I didn't realize that actually it's something that, well, in fact, if you talk to any successful person, they might not use the word manifesting, but they'll describe, visualizing what they want and imagining it vividly and thinking what could stop them and how they were going to head that off at the pass, all that sort of stuff, yeah? Power manifesting is different. It ain't a vision board. It ain't goals. What you do is in your brain, you take something that you know is going to happen, right, like next week, and you put what you want to have happen in its place. Bam! And what happens is all of your neurocoding, all of your behavior, all of your energy, all of your intention, everything suddenly channels to make that happen, right? It's like a sort of superpower. And it's something I've been doing for years, and I just assumed everybody, again, I thought, well, everybody mustn't do this, everyone who's successful. And they do, they don't necessarily call it that, but I found a way to hone it, and I'm going to teach it to you today. Because as a coach, this is a super powerful technology for you to have. But also, just as a human being, it helps you organize your thinking, your behavior, all of your energy, yeah? Because some people say, well, isn't this manifesting stuff, isn't it a bit woo-woo, a bit ooga-booga? Well, yeah, if you like, you could call it that. But look, what we can say from a quantum point of view is energy affects energy. That's it. No one's arguing with that, yeah? So your energy, your behaviors, your thoughts, everything, the sum total of all of that will help you bring about what it is you want, or close to it, yeah? So let's get back to Napoleon Hill. He writes this book. He gets, tons of sales, but he dies bankrupt because he hasn't changed how he felt on the inside. So about 20 years ago, I thought to myself, why don't I do this? Why don't I set out to write a book, to study super rich people and find out how they think? Because, by the way, I'm not interested in rich and poor people. I'm interested in rich and poor thinkers, right? Now, poor thinkers, they're running from lack all the time. They're terrified they're never going to have enough, right? So you can have somebody who's fabulously wealthy, but they're still a poor thinker. Yeah, they're moving away from lack. Rich thinkers see opportunity. They think in terms of possibility. They're creative. They're adaptive. It's a different mindset. And if you don't mind, what I'm going to do, because as I mentioned, I'm a hypnotist, I'm going to install that within you. I'm not going to install my model of happiness in you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to install my best version. I'm going to elicit from you your best version, I should say, of how to think rich. Right? Because you might have slightly different values to me. Your model of happiness might be different to mine. So rather than me install in your head my model, I'm going to elicit from you what is your richest life. So on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, just take a moment and think about these major areas of your life and rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 would be terrible, 10 would be fantastic. Health, mental and physical. What's the number? Because we're going to see how much they've changed at the end of the session. Then relationships, personal and professional. Then career. Finances. Spirituality, if that's important to you. I'm assuming it is. It's the kind of community that we are here. And then general levels of happiness, 1 to 10. Just make notes, make them in your head, boom. Then leave them aside because we're going to come back to them a little bit later. So I decide I'm going to write a book. I'm going to try and do an updated version of Think and Grow Rich because 80 years has passed, and hell, I'm really into modeling. That is studying and codifying how it is that people think and act that makes them exceptional. I also use it as a therapist to find out how people are dysfunctional so I can go change it for them. Yeah. So literally, a few days later, as soon as I commit to this, it's like the universe conspires against me, turns in my favor, right? Richard Branson calls me. Hello, Paul. Yeah, oh, hi, Richard. Nice to, I don't know him. He says, I'd like you to do a job for me. I went, yeah, sure. And he says, well, what are you going to charge me? I said, I'm not going to charge you a penny because I'd like to ask something of you. He goes, what's that? I said, I'd like to model you. That means I want to ask you questions and study the way you think and act. And he said, yeah, that's okay. I said, and I'm writing a book about it. If you like the book, will you write the foreword? He says, if I like it, I will. And he did, right? So next, like a couple of days later, I'm sitting at this dinner party. I sit next to Anita Roddick. She's the founder of The Body Shop, right? She's this incredibly powerful, dynamic woman, entrepreneur. She's a real inspiration. And I've always wanted to meet her. And I'm sitting up with her because Anita Roddick, right? And I said, Anita, it's such a pleasure to meet you. I've long admired, what you've done. I'm doing this. She went, yes! I hadn't even finished the sentence, right? And she said, yes. I said, but you don't know what it is. She says, the energy, the vibe of it I got was so I have to do this thing. I went, wow, right? Then, so I just start meeting billionaires and self-made, successful entrepreneurs. I also met a whole lot of people who had a load of money, but they were miserable, right? And so I decided I didn't want to model that, right? But there was another guy who called me, a guy called Sir David Barclay, sadly no longer with us, self-made billionaire, right? And he's like a kingmaker. He owned the Telegraph, a newspaper in England. And my agent says, David Barclay's on the phone. I went, Sir David, yes. He says, look, I'd like you to do a job for me, right? It's for a family member. I said, okay. And he said, well, just bill me. I said, there's no bill. He said, what do you mean? I said, no, I've never charged anyone in all the years I've been working with people individually, whether they are rock stars, movie stars, or whether they're a war veteran or, somebody I just feel like I can help, I've never charged a penny, right? Because life has been real good to me. It's my kind of way of giving something back, And he said, well, I must do something for you. I went, will you allow me to model you? He went, well, what does that involve? I said, just ask you some questions to find out how you think. Now, what was interesting was he said to me, on this journey that you're going, Paul, you're going to meet a whole lot of people who are wealthy, but they're not rich. And I said, can you tell me what you mean by that? He said, they're constantly running from poverty, right? They've grown up poor. They never want to be poor. And so they literally can't get enough. They're in this sort of, this endless mouse on a wheel, journey, just have more and more and more and more, And so I said, that's really interesting. He said, so that is not what being rich is about, right? Sure, it's about having money, but it's about all these other things. In fact, there's a great saying by Bob Marley, which is, some people are so poor, all they have is money, right? So I'm not interested in creating more miserable millionaires here, right? And when I finished this book, by the way, which was great, it's become an international bestseller, I did the process on 12 people, right? And every single one of them made a load more money. One person went from being, I wouldn't say his earnings, but it was pretty modest, to being a millionaire in just over a year, right? So he had all these resources that he didn't know he had. When he started thinking rich, right, he went, well, I could charge that, and I could do this, and I could, but bam! More than $1 million later, right? So don't be too surprised at what happens to you. Do you know, I did one of the processes I'm going to do with you in a minute. I did it dinner the other night on a friend of mine, right? And he rang me up about 3 days later. He said, God damn, he says, I just made 100 grand. He said, do you think you could be anything to do with it? Possibly, yeah? So I want you to just do our first thought experiment, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like you to close your eyes for a moment, and I'd like you to imagine what it's going to be like to live truly rich. So if you were living absolutely rich, what would it be like? There we go. Take a moment. Yeah. That's good. Just take a moment to think about what it's like. And if you're living truly rich, what's the quality of your relationships like? What's the quality of your health like? That's mental and physical, by the way. If you're living truly rich, what's your career like? If you're living rich, what's your finances like? If you're living rich, what's your spiritual life like, if that's important to you? And if you're living rich, what's your levels of happiness like and fulfillment? And then open your eyes and come on back out. Right, so we just took a snapshot there and then, right? I'm already priming your unconscious mind, right? Or rather, you're doing it. You're allowing me to do it, yeah? Priming it to go, oh, yeah, to get a sense of it, right? And this is really important because the golden rule is, in modern psychology, you get more of what you focus on in life, right? Some people are continually thinking about what it is they don't have, yeah? They're going, oh, I wish I wasn't overweight. I wish I wasn't shy. I wish I wasn't single. They're reinforcing it, right? When we think about, sure, you've got to think about what it is you don't want so you can move away from it. But when you think about what it is you do want, you're instructing your unconscious mind, right? So again, poor thinkers all the time are in lack. They're thinking, oh, God, how am I going to pay this bill? How am I going to do this? Yeah, they're not thinking in terms of opportunity. Now, a billionaire can afford a better bed than you and I. But the way I look at it is when I have a great night's sleep, I'm sleeping rich. Yeah? Right? I mean, I remember years ago, I was walking it was in Edinburgh. It was one of those beautiful cities, and walking with a friend of mine just after I've written this book. And I'm walking down the street and the sun's shining, which is a rarity in Scotland, but it was shining. And I'm walking along and I think, this day is so beautiful. I'm so blessed. My life is great. And I said to my friend, I'm having a rich moment. And he said, what, you sort of a new business or something? And I went, no, this. It's here all the time. Wow. You see, I'm very much a fan of, kind of a consumer society and free market economy. But it's sort of set up to show you what you don't have continually. Edward Bernays, he was Freud's nephew, I think. He's sort of the modern father of public relations. And back in the 19th century, people would buy a pair of trousers or a jacket and they just wear it until it wore out. And he went to corporations. He went, no. You've got to tell people they define themselves by their watch, by their clothes, by their car, by their this and that. And that way you will be able to sell more stuff, right? So that's sort of the basis of consumerism. But what it also does is it can make some people think about what they don't have. Right? So they look at, particularly now with social media, it's a sort of new form of wealth, isn't it? Instead of parking your brand new car on the driveway, it's important to let everyone know what you're having for fucking dinner, isn't it? On Facebook, right? Or, if you meet someone, you have a selfie. Look, that is nice. I'm a fan of it. But in the same way that some people can reinforce their lack, they can look at these people living these extraordinary lives on television or on social media and go, oh, I don't have that. And they can make themselves feel upset. Yeah. So what we're going to do is, again, my objective here is to get you thinking differently. Yeah. So that you have a new set of perceptual filters. So as I mentioned, when you have a great night's sleep, as far as I'm concerned, you're sleeping rich. Who here, if they had all the money in the world, would change their job? Show me. Right. Now, let me just throw a caveat in on this, right? Because some people go, well, I'd still do the same job, but I just wouldn't work as hard, right? So to my mind, you're doing the right job, so you're working rich, as it were, but you're just working too hard, right? Who here would change what they eat? If you had all the money in the world. Yeah. People would go, yeah, I'm a chef. But if you say, no, I would never eat Italian or Chinese or Indian ever again, that's a different thing. But you're probably going, well, I'd still eat those things, yeah. But I would probably eat at fancier restaurants or something like that. So a lot of the time, you're eating rich, right? Who here would change where they live? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so would you change the country or the location? Would you have a bigger house or whatever? Yep. Who here would change their friends? You can do that for free, by the way. No, every now and again it is a good idea to just look through your phone and go, who takes my energy up? Who takes it down? You know? Yeah. I mean, just one of those things to do, right? So I'm getting you to think about anything you answered no to, right? You're already living rich. Anything you went, well, I would change it a bit or something, you're sort of half in, half out. I just want to draw your attention, you see, to how rich you already are. Because, as I mentioned, you get more of what you focus on, right? This is why gratitude list is a great idea. You know, I do one most days. I go walk my dog in the park. I experience the positive overwhelm of nature, all the beautiful colors and the shapes, and I feel so good. I feel connected to the universe, and I think to myself, I think, what am I grateful for? And I think, my health, my friends, my family, all the people I love, and they love me. That first cup of tea I have in the morning, breathing clean air, having a purpose in life. Purpose is the cornerstone of good mental health, as Viktor Frankl, the legendary psychiatrist, said. So what we're going to do in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do another process, right? Because already you're beginning to go, oh yes, I see. I do live rich. I do live rich. But the brainwashing from the consumerism gets you to think about what you don't have. And you'll be a better person if you've got a bigger car, bigger house, nicer watch, something like that, yeah? Yeah, and I just want to pull you out of that for a moment. And your mind go, oh, snapshot, my life, yeah! A friend of mine, Jason Vale, does this thing where he goes, you just landed. Like literally, you just landed on planet Earth. This is your partner. This is your house. This is your car. This is your job. These are your clothes. And you do it from a sort of, I just landed on planet. And look, take a moment to do it. Just think, I just landed on planet Earth. I got all these friends. I got purpose. I got health. I've got opportunities. I got things to look forward to. Wow! It's a great big wow, right? So what we're going to do next is we're in a process where I'm going to try and pull some unconscious beliefs that might be holding you back, right? Because I've noticed, and this, again, there's no pointy fingers with this, right? That some people have beliefs around money, right, that hold them back. You know, people say to me things like, it says in the Bible that money is the root of all evil. No, it doesn't. It says the love of money, treating money like a commodity, yeah, is the root of all evil. Actually, money's great. You know what money does? Money's the oil in the machine that allows us to exchange goods and services, that allows technology and creativity, allows art and science and all the wonderful things that go on in the world. It's facilitated by money. Money's wonderful, right? But I hear terms like filthy rich, fat cat. Right? Do you know, I know somebody, he was trying to tell me the other day that nobody should be allowed to be a billionaire. And I said, what the fuck is wrong with you? He went, well, he said, you know, I mean, it's just, they've got too much, haven't they? I went, them having $1 billion does not take a single cent away from you, my friend. Money's not finite. We just keep printing more and more of it, yeah? Yeah, more and more and more and more. That's right. You know, literally, if you and I sat here and we passed $1 back and forth between us, we could spend $1 million, yeah? Yeah. That's it, right? So, I need you to pull any unconscious beliefs that you've got around money. Okay, so we're going to do something called the meaning of money. The slide's going to come up here. Now, what I want you to do is literally the first thing that comes into your head, right? So literally, when you see people with money are, first thought, and write it down. Money makes people, first thought. And it's important to the first thought because I want it from your unconscious. I'd have more money if my parents always thought that money would, add what you think there. Money causes. And, I'm afraid that if I had more money, I would. Money is. In order to have more money, I would need to. I think money, blah, 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 blah. If I were really rich, I'd then add it. And finally, my biggest fear about money is, well, now, what I'm looking for in this particular exercise is beliefs that are sort of negative or prejudicial. They're things that are, like, people with money are selfish or something like that, yeah? See, the thing is, if you hate rich people, how are you going to become one of them? Right? Your unconscious mind is going to stop you. Or if you've got a belief like, well, rich people, they're all crooks really, aren't they? Then a part of you will think that you have to become a crook to get rich, and that's just not true, right? Hello, sir, what's your name?
Luke.
Luke. Okay, so could you read out your sentences one at a time?
So, number one, I put people with money are selfish, which you said. Number 5, I put money causes war.
Money causes war, right, yeah.
Number 6, I'm afraid that if I had more money, I would lose it.
Right.
Number 9, I think money is hard to come by.
Okay.
Number 11, my biggest fear about money is losing my current life.
Right, okay, now, here you go. So you've got some proper negative beliefs in the unconscious there. Now, what we're going to do is, through a process of revelation, we're going to change our mindset about it. See, money is a tool. That's all it is, right? It allows the exchange of goods and services, yeah? Just like a shovel. A shovel is a tool. So, Luke, what I'd like you to do is replace the word money with the word shovel. So, people with shovels are. So just wherever you see money, I want you to say that, to read out the word shovel instead. So,
people with shovels are selfish.
Are selfish, right? Everyone knows those people with shovels are selfish, aren't they? What's the next one?
Shovels cause war.
Shovels cause war. Yeah. Goddamn shovels. Yeah. Okay, what else?
My biggest fear about shovels is losing my current life.
Thank you. Well, Luke, let's give Luke a big round of applause, and everyone a big round of applause. Okay. All right. So, what I would like you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I'd like you to just go back through your list now and just change the word money for the word shovels and just read it back to yourself. Try and keep a straight face, but if you can't, you're forgiven. Yeah, just read that back to yourself now and see if you're able to pull any of the negative beliefs. I remember somebody once said, people with money are arseholes or something like that, right? Literally. And it was, money makes people greedy. Every single thing was a negative, right? And so he, of course, he was having trouble getting wealthy because he thought he was going to have to turn into some kind of git in order to get rich. Right? What we're doing is we're using humor and insight in order to get a shift in our perception. Right? Now, I tell you why this is so important. Right? That's because your unconscious mind is in charge. Thank God. Right? You learn to do something consciously, like tie your shoelaces, and then you store the program in the unconscious mind. But as I said, a lot of our programs or habits or beliefs are formed in the first sort of 7 years of our life by the key experiences, the emotional intensity experiences, and also by things that are said to us repeatedly by authority figures. Now, years ago, when I started out as a hypnotherapist back in the 80s, this guy comes to see me, right? And he said, every time I start to get successful, I screw it up. And I sabotage myself. And I said, so what do you mean? He goes, I know I'm doing it. I'm about to do this deal, and I go in and I screw it up. And now, I wouldn't do it like this nowadays, but I was an old school hypnotherapist back in the 80s, right? So I bunged him into a trance, and I said, go to the moment this pattern happened, right? And what had happened is, as a kid, he'd said to his mother, when I grow up, I want to be successful. And his mother, who's a lovely housewife from the north of England, went, oh, son, you don't want to be successful. Those successful people, they have heart attacks, right? Now, the thing is, there is no logic. There is no logic in the idea that success and heart attacks go together. But the unconscious mind is not logical, it's purposeful. And its purpose is survival. Right? So you can think with your conscious mind all you want. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Your unconscious mind goes, I don't think so. And it stops you. Yeah? So the unconscious mind was intervening because there was no logical connection, but there was a purposeful one formed. An authority figure told him something of emotional intensity at an impressionable age. It went bam into his unconscious mind. And it was sabotaging him since. Now, great thing is, as I mentioned, you're in a room with a hypnotist who knows how to undo unconscious programming that's either holding you back. Anybody here self-sabotage at all? Yes. Anybody here get, that kind of, I'm going to get found out, that sort of, that fear of, yes, imposter syndrome, that's what it's, yeah. Or anybody just here think they're capable of more, yeah? Yeah, okay. You see, the thing I found is that I asked people who's living up to 100% of their true potential. And only one person in all the 25 years I've been asking that has said yes. And that was Tyler Winklevoss said, at this moment, I am at 100% of my true potential. And he just invented Facebook, so I think he was right. But apart from that, nobody says yes. And it's because unconscious self-sabotage, not feeling worthy, not feeling good enough, and or not thinking rich and big enough. So what we're going to do is, see, with the guy who had the belief that if he started to get successful, he'd have a heart attack. What I did was I just pulled it. But we're going to do an even quicker thing right now. So I want you to place your hands out in front of you like this. Right? First bit of real magic coming up. Right now. Close your eyes, and in one of your hands, I would like you to put the part of you that wants you to have a richer life. Now, that can either be financially, or it can be in, let's say, every sense. Healthier, greater relationships, better career, finances, spirituality, and, of course, happiness. Put that part of you that wants to have an even richer life. Okay. And then in your other hand, I'd like you to put any part of you that stops you, limits you, or overprotects you. Because that's really what, its intention is positive. It's just overdoing its job. Part of you that sabotages, part of you that doesn't think you're worthy, part of you that just isn't sure that you can handle it, or whatever it is. Any part that's stopping you. Now, bring your hands together. So one is over the top of the other. That's it, right. And just sit with this for a moment. Because this is what we're going to do. We're going to ask the unconscious mind to find ways for both parts to fulfill their positive intent. See, both have a positive intent. One part of you wants to have a richer life. Another part of you might be worried that it'll change and be too much for you to handle, or you don't deserve it, or something like that. And so it's got a positive intent. The positive intent is protection, essentially. Let those two hands sit together. Now, when it feels like it's possible that they could work together, in theory, it's possible. Bring your hands towards your chest. Now, integrate this new super part. Now, I want you to imagine what your life will be like as it becomes richer in every sense. Yeah, healthier, greater relationships, greater career, opportunities, more money, yeah, spirituality and happiness. What will you see? What will you hear? And what will you feel? And when you've done that, I'd like you to open your eyes, relax your hands, come on back out. Who feels good doing that, by the way? Show me. Yeah. Do you know, I've seen this one technique, right? It's created by my friend Richard Bandler, and who's the co-creator of NLP, right? And he's a proper real-life genius, right? And I've seen this one technique literally, bam, totally change someone's destiny. I remember years ago doing it with a lady on the stage, and she was dressed like a tramp, and she was a smart enough lady, but she didn't have any direction in life. She couldn't hold a relationship down. She got ideas for business, but, it was all over the place. Anyway, I had to do this, and you could see that something had happened. And I met her about 6 months later, and she was dressed smart. She was in a suit. And she walked up to me all like confident and said, hey, oh, it's you. And yet she was in a functional relationship. She'd started a business that was booming. I've seen this being a game changer. People go, it just can't be that easy. Yes, it is these days. I mean, it used to take us 6 months to cure a phobia. Now most phobias are done in about 60 minutes. Do you remember years ago in the 80s, there was cell phones that were like a brick, like that. You'd put it to your ear, right? And all you could do was make phone calls on it. But nowadays, a cell phone is a supercomputer. You have access to all the information in the world, right? You can have your music, your office, your life on this thing. Yeah. Now, in the same way, psych tech, if you like, psychological technology has made this extraordinary leap in the last sort of 20 years. And there are now all kinds of really great new therapies or psychological devices or technologies that we can use to improve our lives. So what we're going to do next is a bit of the old power manifesting. Now, I'm going to describe to you how it works first, and then I'm going to demonstrate it on somebody, and then we're all going to do this. And this is possibly the most important, if not one of the most important things you're going to learn today. And that is, you see, we all have a mechanism for letting us know how much money we have and how money comes to us, right? So I'll just tell you how mine works. I don't want to disclose any numbers or anything like that. So I see, the motion is, a bank transfer comes in, and I see, and it's like a block for me, and I see what the block says, yeah? And I've also got another one here, which is a tax account, because sometimes when I do this, people they go, this is all too much money. Yeah. By the way, you'll find when we're doing this process, some of you go, oh, it's almost too much. The author Brandon Bays does this experiment where she says to people, I want you to imagine you're going for this job interview, and this is the salary. Then just before you go in for the final interview, you've got it down to the last 5 people, you realize there's an extra zero on the end. So it's not 60,000 a year, it's 600,000 a year. How do you feel? And it's really weird. The majority of people go, oh, it's too much, uncomfortable, yeah? So they've limited, their thermostat is set too low, yeah? So what this process does is it undoes years of conditioning, beliefs, all these sorts of things. So what I do is I imagine the thing coming in and I increase it by about 10%. And I see the number increasing. Some people see just a number, that's all they see, yeah? Other people see it like a friend of mine, he sees it like confetti. This bloke the other day, he saw it as coming from lots of sources, a green color energy. And it was coming to him and it was filling up beside him, yeah? So I want you to stop for a moment now and think to yourself, first of all, how do you know how much you have? So is it a number, is it a block, or is it represented in some other form? And how do you know money is coming to you, payments are coming in, right? So it might be your salary comes in, or you've got multiple income sources from your various businesses or whatever it is, yeah? Just notice how you do this, and you do this specifically. Because this is the neurocoding, right? What we're going to do is we're going to take something that we know is going to happen, and we're going to make something that we want to have happen in the same coding. So it says to the brain, it says to all your energy, it says to the universe, make this happen, right? So let me just choose somebody for this next experiment. What's your name, by the way?
Faraz.
Faraz, lovely. And where are you from, sir?
Norway.
From Norway. Beautiful part of the world, by the way, if you haven't been. And so when you see, did you see a process take place when money comes in, when you know that you're receiving more money?
It's a feeling of expansion.
A feeling of expansion, yeah. So where does the feeling start and where does it move to? Start here?
From the stomach and up to the chest.
And up to the chest, yeah. And how do you, now don't tell me any numbers, but you know how much you have in the bank, more or less, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, do you visualize that number in front of you, to the left or the right? Just point to where you visualize it. There. So when you feel this feeling of expansion coming in here, does the number change there?
It does.
Brilliant. Come and join us. Okay, let's give him a nice big round of applause. Hello. Is it Faraz, yeah?
That's right. I've been dancing all week
Oh, right.
on the stage, and now we're going to do something different.
Yeah, you definitely are going to do something very different. In fact, something life-changing. Okay, so Faraz, you said that you feel, when you know money's coming in, yes, you get a visceral experience, you get a feeling, right? Does it have a color, by the way?
Purple rain, baby.
Like purple rain, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And then you know how much you have because there's a number. Did you point to it here?
That's correct.
It's here, yeah? And what sort of size is it? Can you just give me the gist of it? Oh, right. So it's about this size here.
Yeah.
And so, right, here's the magic, right? So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to see 10% more money coming in and that number go up by 10%. Feels good, right? Mm. Okay, I'd like you to do another 10%, please. That's it. That's it. Good. There. You're instructing your unconscious mind, all your thinking, all your wisdom, all your behavior. You're instructing all your energy. Yeah? And then put it up by another 10%. That's good. And then, that's it. Have that color richer and brighter and bolder. See that number go up even more. Another 10%. Woo! Then take it up 100%. Woo! Woo! That's good. Yeah, we want to alter this thermostat. Yeah, take it up another 100%. Woo! That's it. Even more coming in. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's got over another 100%. Another 100%. Another 100%. 100% more. 100% more. 100% more. Woo! Yes! That's right. You are going to be richer than you ever thought possible before. That's right. Woo! Another 100%. Another 100%. Another 100%. Another 100%. Another 100%. Just keep it going. Keep it going. Woo! Woo! Yeah. Woo! Woo! Oh, man. Faraz, how do you feel?
There's a party on this side.
It's a party on this side. Do you see a new number there now?
I do.
You do? Yeah. Okay, now, the thing to do is this every day, right? So when I started doing this every day, my earnings 10x'd, right, within a year. Yeah? Faraz, thank you so much. Let's give him a nice big round of applause.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Okay. Okay. So, we're all going to do it, right? So what I'd like you to do is get yourself comfortable. Notice where the transactions, what lets you know that money is coming in. Now, some people just see a number go up, yeah? And other people, they actually see a process. You know, they see some sort of, movement of color or energy, or, they actually see a physical bank statement. I see a movement happening. So it's coming from, for me it's like this. Other people it's like confetti or it's blocks of money. I see what happens is it comes in and that gets bigger. Some people just see a bank statement and they see that, right? So what I want you to do is notice how you represent money coming in. This is your unique neurocoding. There is no right or wrong way to do this. Then what I'd like you to do is increase it by 10%, please. There you go. See 10% more coming in. And then increase it by another 10%, please. That's it. See more coming in. And just see the block getting bigger or the number getting bigger. And then increase it by another 10%, please. And another 10%, please. And another 10%. And another 10%, and another 10%. That's it. Get it really flowing in now. That's it. There you go. That's it. And then notch it up 100%. That's right. And then 100% more. And 100% more. Woo! That's it. 100% more. 100% more. Just keep doing it until it's literally too much. That's it. And then push it even more. 100% more. 100% more. 100% more. 100% more. That's right. 100% more. 100% more. Woo! 100% more. 100% more. 100% more. 100% more. Woo! That's it. That's it. Build bigger accounts, tax accounts. That's it. Offshore accounts if you want. Have as many as you want. Have more come in. That's it. Keep increasing it. 100%, 100%, 100%. 100%, 100%. Ah, that's good. 100%. And then, whoo, stop. Whew. Right. Who's got more money in the bank now than they started with? Show me. Fantastic. Right. What you're doing is you're saying to your unconscious mind, move me out of the limitations of what I think I deserve, right, etc., because of my conditioning, the way I grew up, or my expectations, and take me to a place with greater abundance, greater wealth, right? Yep, because there has to be more and more money in the world, because there's more and more people, and there's more and more goods and services that need to be exchanged, right? It's the oil in the machine. Yeah. So by doing this every day, right, what you do is you say to your unconscious mind, make it happen, right? But also, if you want to get a little bit, quantum, energy affects energy, right? Yeah? So what you're doing is you're using your energy. You're using your creativity. See, remember, you get paid for adding value or perceived value, right? Now, the reason I use the word perceived is because supermodels are paid more than doctors because they are perceived to be rarer, right? And more important by some people, yeah? But when say you work in a company, if you add value, you come up with ideas or ways of doing things better, or you generally just bring great energy and great service to the people that you work with, that you're adding value, yeah? If you're an entrepreneur, we got any entrepreneurs in here today? Yeah, okay, loads, right. Great. So in your businesses, think to yourself, how can I add more value, right? One of the things I do is I always try and give more than I'm paid for, yeah? It's just, and it feels good, by the way, right? Yeah? I mean, obviously, if you're giving too much to an extent where it makes you feel like, you're not appreciated, that's not the same thing. I'm saying you give more value than you're paid for. Firstly, it feels good. You'll get valued and respected. you get paid more. It's the way the world works, right? So what we're doing is we're unconsciously conditioning that genius biocomputer of your mind, and we're getting it to already think about having more money. Do it again. Do the process again now while we're here. See the money coming in? That's it. More of it. See it coming in even faster, even more of it. More of it. More of it. Yes, more of it. More of it. That's right. Yeah! Woo! And then open your eyes and come on back out. You see, this isn't a lecture, right? This is a coaching session, right? I'm sure you know the difference between coaching and therapy. So with coaching, you elicit the resources of the person to help them, have a richer, better life. And with therapy, you kind of do it to them, yeah? So I would rather that you learn to do this for yourself and for your clients, because they will thank you. They certainly will. And before we're finished, we're going to do some hypnosis and create a compelling future for you, right? Create an amazing future, and so that you can do that with your clients as well. Because one of the things I love about my job is, firstly, I like helping people, right? And it's solving problems. Any right-minded person should do, yeah? Right? There's a difference between like a normal right-thinking person and, say, a sociopath who couldn't give a shit about anyone. It's another word for sort of super selfishness. And a psychopath they're real bad people. They get off on hurting other people. So, we need to find them and lock them up, right? But a normal right-thinking person, when you do some act of kindness, it feels good. There's an old Chinese saying, which is, if you want to feel happy for an hour, take a nap. Want to be happy for a week? Take a vacation. If you want to be happy for a year, go win the lottery. You want to be happy for the rest of your life, help other people. So I think it's a very noble profession you've chosen, right? Yeah, I do, really do, right? Because years ago, you were kind of either a shrink, right? You were, a psychiatrist, psychologist, something like that. Or you weren't. There wasn't a thing called a coach. And I was so happy when this category got invented, because I thought, this is great. So people that don't necessarily want to study medicine or, study sort of bollocks like Freud and that, but they just want to help people, right? There's a category now. And being a coach is a phenomenal job. And I remember, so I hired my friend Michael Neal. I'm sure, any of you know Michael? Yeah. He's just the greatest coach in the world, right? There's somebody once said about him, if Superman needed a coach, he'd hire Michael Neal, which I thought was great. Anyway, I hired Michael, and my life got immeasurably better, because he'd just sit and talk with me, ask me questions, intelligent questions, guide my mind in particular directions, and wow, it got better, right? And now he's a very, very successful coach, and I can't afford him anymore, but... Joking, Michael. He really is. He's fantastic. So thing is, being a coach is a great job. And, of course, it pays well, right? The average hypnotherapist earns $100,000 a year. That's the average one, right? I mean, most of the hypnotherapists I know earn like 4 or 5 times that, right? Because they're real good, right? And it's the same with coaching. The better at it you get, right, what will happen is the word of mouth, for a start, and also your clients will want to sign up to get more and more of it, right? I'm just planting these seeds inside your unconscious mind. So let's get a little bit sort of metaphysical, but I can explain it scientifically. This stage, right? Me, you, the lights, the screen, everything is all made of atoms and molecules vibrating at a density and a frequency. It's just the stage is a different density and frequency to me. That's why it's a stage and not a me, yeah? And so, in a sense, the whole universe is energy. It's all atoms and molecules vibrating at a density and frequency, and inside the atoms and molecules are quarks, and inside the quarks, it's not a thing, right? But we could go off on a big tangent there. But if I say to you, everything is made of energy, you could explain the entire universe in math, right? It's all energy. And your energy affects other people's energy. Have you noticed, by the way? Oh, here we go. There's a scientific principle for this. It's called the law of sympathetic resonance, right? If you have 2 pianos in the same room and you hit a C chord on one, the C chord on the other vibrates in resonance, in harmony, yeah? Have you noticed how all of the sort of rich and happy people manage to find each other, yeah? And all the miserable bastards all find each other as well, don't they? Misery loves company. But literally, they do. All the fucking losers all find each other, right? And this is a true thing, right? So a friend of mine owns a casino, and I'd heard this story that if somebody's winning, they're doing really well, right? They go and stand somebody next to him called a cooler. And this is an unlucky motherfucker, right? This is somebody just, nothing works in their life, right? And they stand next to them, and literally their luck changes. And I asked, because a friend of mine owns a casino, I said, is this true? He says, no, it's absolutely true. We have to do it sometimes because they're just winning too much, right? Some people are disproportionately luckier than others, right? And it's all to do with their beliefs about luck, etc., etc. Now, as I mentioned, we're atoms and molecules vibrating at a density and frequency, yeah? And what we're going to do in just a moment is a process to alter somebody's frequency. So when you're angry, you're on a different frequency than when you're happy, right? Is there anyone who's really scared about losing it all? There's like a big fear for them. They're just terrified of, hey, let me just come out to the audience. Let me just, who should we have? So somebody who's terrified of losing everything. They've got fear of poverty. Sir, you, yep? Yep. Would you come and join us? Let's give him a nice big round of applause. Please, step into my office, sir. That's it, good. Let's give him a nice big round of applause. Hello, hi. What's your name, sir?
Art.
Art. Great. Where are you from, Art?
From Tenerife.
From where?
Tenerife, Spain.
Tenerife in Spain.
Yes.
Oh, right, yeah, fantastic. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now, but you have a fear of losing it all, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, we're going to deal with that in a sec. So what happens is when you go through a trauma of any kind, what happens is a 100 hertz wave travels from the thalamus and it phosphorylates what's called the AMPA receptors, right? You don't really need to know anything, so I'm just laying it out. You know, just like you don't need to be a mechanic to drive a car. But what happens is when you touch here, like this, so if you do this, ladies and gentlemen, this feels comforting, doesn't it? It feels nice. Because when you were a baby, your mother held you in her arms and she rocked you. And so what happens is when you do this, when you touch here, 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 and here, what happens is you release a delta wave, a massive amount of delta, and it dephosphorylates the AMPA receptors. So we use this technique. Can I turn you, Art, can I turn you just slightly to the side like that? Perfect, that's great. Perfect. So what I'd like you to do is place your hands like that. There you go, because I'm going to touch the side of your arms and hands. Now, I'd like you to go inside, and I'd like you to get in touch with the fear of losing it all. Imagine you've lost it all, you're destitute. And on a scale of 1 to 10, tell me how strong you can get that fear.
8.
8, right? Get it even higher. Imagine you've lost it all, nothing on the streets. It's bad news, right? See if you can get it higher. Tell me you can get it higher. Get that fear so it's immense. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, what number's that fear at now?
9.
9, and clear your mind. Clear your mind, and we're walking together on a beautiful beach. And with each footstep that you take in the sand, I'd like you to count out loud, please, from 1 to 20.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
That's great. Now, I'd like you to remember a time that you felt really good, a time you felt really happy and on top of the world, and just return to that time right now. Maybe you're laughing or smiling or having fun, and just tell me about that time. What can you see? What can you hear? And how good do you feel, Art? Just tell me about it.
It's when I'm around 7 years old. I'm with my cousin. I'm having this incredible happy birthday day.
Oh, wow.
I won a lot of chocolate coins, golden coins, and we were betting the coins with like stickers, and I win all the stickers, and we were playing a beautiful game, and then we went to watch a film, Star Wars, with pizza. It was the perfect day. It was.
God, it sounds brilliant. I want to go. Okay, now, what I'd like you to do, Art, is notice where you feel the good feeling strongest in your body. And give it a color. What color is it?
It's kind of golden.
Golden, that's great. I use gold too. Put that gold feeling, and I want you to imagine the gold feeling moving up through your neck into your head. Around your face, down through your shoulders, into your arms and hands and fingers, down through your chest, into your legs, to the very tips of your toes, and then double the brightness, and double it again, and double it again. Oh, until you're glowing with this gold feeling. It's absolutely fantastic. And then open your eyes and come on back out. Whew. Now, try and get that feeling of losing it all, the fear of losing it all back. On a scale of 1 to 10, how strong can you get it?
3.
3. Wow. Hold on to that. Now, thing is, we use this technique. It's called the havening technique, by the way. For those of you interested in it, I suggest every coach learns it, particularly event havening. You know, you pick something that's very upsetting or the thought of it happening. And we use this in PTSD. But there's a whole set of other techniques that are part of havening. It was created by my dear friend, Dr. Ronald Rudin. He's just retired. He's a medical doctor. But he's also a Harvard PhD in neuropharmacology. And he was fascinated by the tapping technique, you see, which was using a Chinese medicine model, yeah? He's a neuropharmacologist, Harvard PhD, by the way. He's a smart guy, right? And he found that the touch of certain parts of the body created this amazing release of delta, and that dephosphorylates the AMPA receptors. So, yeah, it's just something you might want to check out. Havening.org is how you find out more about it. Now, what we've done there is we've taken away your overwhelming fear of losing it all, right? Now, what we also want to affect is any feelings of avarice or greed, right? And look, you wouldn't be human if at some point in your life you didn't feel a little bit greedy or a little bit, you know, some people literally want that avarice thing. Ooh, money. Ooh. Now, I'm not saying that's you, but we want to try and create that. Because what we're going to do is what this does is this depotentiates the feeling. So the fear of losing everything has now gone. It's hardly there, yeah? It's a shadow of what it was, right? And it won't come back, by the way. Now, you want to have a mechanism that lets you know, say a bill comes in, you want to go, oh yeah, I need to pay that, right? Because you don't want to be reckless around money. But if you're continually worried about losing it, you'll treat money differently and it will treat you differently, right? So what we're going to do is we've knocked the edge off the fear of losing it. Now we're going to go after avarice and greed, like love and lust of money. Remember what I said in the Bible, the love of money is the root of all evil? So what I need you to do is close your eyes, and I need you to imagine you've got so much money. You've got loads of it. You've got one of those leaf blowers blowing €100 notes all around your living room. That's it. You've got a bath where you bathe in money. You've got stacks of it. You've got it in your fridge. You've got it in your cupboards. You've just got it. You've got it all. And you love spending it, buying things like boats and planes and cars and fucking jewelry and everything. You've got so much money you don't want to do with it. Ooh, feel the greed, feel the avarice. Tell me when you can feel it. Ooh, and then clear your mind. And imagine that we're walking together on a beach with each footstep that you take in the sand. Count out loud from 1 to 20, please.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20.
And then you go back to your 7th birthday. All those lovely gold coin things, the chocolate coins. That's right, the Star Wars movie, the whole fucking lot. That's it, it's great, isn't it? And then move that gold feeling up through your neck into your head, down through your shoulders into your arms, hands, fingers, down through your chest into your legs and the tips of your toes, double the brightness and double it again. Whew. And open your eyes and come on back out. Now, when you think about money now, what's the difference? Well, how do you feel different?
It feels the right thing. It feels good.
It feels good. Right, so there isn't fear of losing it all. No. But there isn't, I've got to have it. You're what I would call, you are right now in the money zone. Your energy, you're oscillating, vibrating on a frequency that is not feeling massive attachment, move away or move towards. You're like a sort of Zen master when it comes to money. Thank you so much. That was great. Great stuff. Thank you. A nice round of applause. Right. We're all going to do that, right? So what I'd like you to do, ladies and gentlemen, is put your pads and things down, and I need you to stroke the side of your arms like this. And I need you to close your eyes, please. And I want you to imagine losing it all. I want you to get in touch with the fear of not having enough money or any money or whatever. The fear of losing it all. The fear of losing it all, right? And get it as strong as you can. Imagine you've lost it all. And it's terrifying. You're out on the street. You've got no money. It's all gone. Ooh, get a fear as strong as you can. And then clear your mind. Completely clear your mind. And imagine we're walking together on a beach. And I'd like you to count out loud from 1 to 20 with each, keep stroking the side of your arms, with each footstep that you take as you walk on the beach with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, keep stroking the side of your arms, and I would like you to remember a happy time, any happy time, and return to it like you're back there again now. Maybe it was a time you were laughing with friends, or you'd fallen in love, or maybe you'd achieved something, but just a happy, happy time. And return to it like you're back there again now. See what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel how good you felt. And then what I'd like you to do is I would like you to notice where you feel the good feelings in your body strongest of all. And I would like you to give them a color. And then move that color up through your neck in to your head. So your whole head is surrounded by this color. Then move it down through your shoulders into your arms and hands and fingers. And then move it down through your chest. Move that color into your stomach, into your legs, into the very tips of your toes, and double the brightness. And double it again, and double it again, and double it again, and double it again. So you're glowing with this lovely feeling. That's right. There we go. That's right. And then stop. And then notice where the feeling of losing all the money, where the fear is now. Fear should be dramatically reduced now. Next, let's go after avarice or greed. Ooh, gotta have it, money. Yeah? Any feelings you have like that, lustful sort of feelings, yeah? For money, close your eyes and get in touch and try and get as much lust for money as you can, right? Because we want to negate both ends. So you sit in the money zone. Get that lust going, that greed. Ooh, imagine loads of it, yes. Oh, I see you've got a big room stacked with money. You've got money stashed in there. Ah, loads of it. Ooh, feels so good, doesn't it? Rolling around in it. That's it. Then what I want you to do is clear your mind. And once again, we're walking on a beach. Count out loud from 1 to 20 with me, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then once again, go back to that memory, that happy memory, and see what you saw and hear what you heard and feel how good you felt. And find where the feelings are strongest and give them a color. Move the color up through the top of your neck into your head, all the way down through your shoulders into your arms and hands and fingers, down through your body to the tips of your toes until you're glowing with this color. And then when you're ready, open your eyes and come on back out. Who feels good? Woo! Yeah! So, remember, what we're doing with this, you see, is we're taking away the fear of losing it all. So you know, these people are constantly like a mouse on a wheel trying, I've got to have more, because they're coming from lack, yeah? And we're taking away, greed, got to have. And we're sitting in this beautiful place where it's great if we have money, yeah? But we don't feel bad if we don't, and we don't feel literally as though the more I have, the better I'm going to feel, yeah? Because see, when you treat it like that, it becomes like a drug, right? And as you know, with a drug, the more you have, the more you need. Right? So by doing this, it puts you in what I call the money zone, right? You're oscillating on a different frequency. You can feel that you feel different, right? So what we're going to do next, ladies and gentlemen, I promised I was going to hypnotize you. So we're going to do a little hypnosis. Yeah. Just, let me get this. I'm going to sit down for this, actually. Because what we're going to do before we do anything is we want to, again, you know I mentioned power manifesting. Is where you take something that you know is going to happen and you put something that you want to have happen in its place, spatially, in terms of size, color, everything. So that is the neurocoding, right? Now, when I think about tomorrow, it's there. If I think about next week, it's further away. Christmas is over there, next year is over there. So the past, for me, is behind me. The future extends out in front. Some people have it go from left. Like the past is on the left, the present is here, and the future is off to the right. Some people have it go from down to up. Some people have it go around them like that. So just think about some things that you know are going to happen. And think about, say, next week. Point to where next week is for me. Just show me. Well, next month. 6 months from now. 1 year from now. There you go. Okay, great. Right, so this is what we refer to in NLP speak as your timeline. So you know that these things are going to happen. That's where the future is, yeah? What we're going to do is we're going to go and create an amazingly compelling future, and we're going to stick it in your timeline, and then we're going to back engineer it, yeah? We're going to say what happened before, what happened before, what happened before. See, this is why a lot of people fail at their New Year's resolutions, right? For the simple reason that they're not really resolutions, they're wishes, right? If all you had to do was wish for anything, we'd all be living in mansion houses, with fabulous lovers and, big cars and yachts. So, if that's all you had to do, right? It would all be the perfect weight. We'd all be, able to do exactly what we wanted. Wishing is nice, but that's all it is wishing, yeah? I like to, this is when I do goals, right? And I'm pretty good at this, actually. I used to be a relentless goal setter. These days I have more of a direction in my life, right? Because I like to live my values, yeah? So, I should get shit done, right? But this is how I do it, right? I go off into the future and I imagine what it's going to have been like to have achieved my goal. What will I see? What will I hear? How will I feel? Then what I do is an ecology check, right? Ecology is the study of consequences, right? So I go, now hang on, to get here, did it cost me? Did my health suffer? Or did I fall out with people? Or did I have to, do you know what I mean? Is there a negative consequence to this goal? And if there is, I go, right, I'll change the goal. The other thing I ask myself is, what might stop me? What might get in the way, right? And so I can head those off at the pass, right? Then what I do is I go, all right, imagine I've achieved it. I step back on my timeline. And then I step back on my timeline. And I step back on my timeline. And then I come all the way back to now. So I've then got a series of images that show me the direction my life is going to take over the next year or 5 years or 10 years, yeah? And what it's doing is it's using all of my energy, all of my thinking, all of my behavior, all of it to make that come about. Now, I do like achieving certain things, but these days, as well as goals, I like to live my values. Because, if all you have are goals, then you're just on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. And my life was very much like that. I lived in literally the lures of overachievers, Los Angeles for 10 years, right? And it was great. But, there I am with all these other overachievers. And, someone else has got a bigger house or more cars or whatever, and there's no end to it, yeah, right? And so these days I live my values much more than just goal set. And by values, I mean those things that are most important to you. Just take a moment, right? My personal values, right, are things like health. Do I feel mentally and physically healthy? If so, I can tick that box. It's good, I'm winning. Next up is something like, do I feel loved? Do I love those people, my family, my friends, my dog? Yeah, I love. Do I feel love in my life? Yeah. Then I'll do things like freedom. Do I get to decide most days what it is I want to do? Yeah. It's great, isn't it? Because I have this great career and I meet fun people and I love my job and yeah, it's great. Did I laugh? Right? A lot of laughter. I enjoy laughter very much. I think, sometimes at the absurdity of life and stuff like that. But I just love laughing. It's the orgasm of the mind, yeah? So and if I can tick those boxes every day, my life's in good shape. So just take a moment now, before we design your compelling future, and ask yourself, what's most important to me? Ask yourself that. What's most important to me? And you'll have a list of words, there'll be things like freedom or family or, success. And of course, they all mean different things, don't they? Yeah? See, for me, rich is more than just money. It's definitely about money. But it's all those other things I mentioned. It's health, it's career, it's relationships, it's all that sort of stuff, yeah? Just take a moment to get in touch with your values. Because we're going to go and design a hell of a future for you. Then, what I'd like you to do is take a deep breath in and put your pens and papers down and relax, because it is time to go into a hypnotic trance. So we're going to put some relaxing music on. And I'm going to ask you to just close your eyes and relax the little muscles at the side of your eyes and side of your mouth. And relax the little muscles around your face and in your neck. Comfortably aware of your shoulders relaxing, and relaxing down through your chest into your stomach and relaxing your legs and feet. And my voice will go with you as you relax now. Because you've been listening to me now, speaking, and you've been doing processes with me, and you're aware of certain sensations that are a part of this experience. And this is the only trance that's happening for you now. Because we're going to go on a little journey. I'd like you to imagine floating up and out of your body and floating down your timeline 1 year from now. And float into the timeline. And I'd like you to imagine that you've had one of the best years of your life. It's been amazing. It's been absolutely fantastic. If that's true, what must have occurred in regard to your health, both physical and mental? If you've had one of the best years of your life, what must have occurred in regard to your relationships, personal and professional? If you've had one of the best years of your life, what must have happened in regard to your career? If you've had one of the best years of your life, what must have happened in regard to your finances? If you've had one of the best years of your life, what must have happened in regard to your spiritual life? If you've had one of the best years of your life, what must have happened to your general levels of happiness? And I'd like you now to imagine you're living this most amazing year. You're there in your timeline. What do you see, hear, and feel that lets you know that all is well? You're living the richest life you've ever lived. And what I'd like you to do is to float back out of the picture and float back 3 months down the timeline. And then make that picture of you 1 year from now really huge, like a cinema screen. And ask yourself, what happened 3 months before all that great stuff? Just get a sense of it. And then float back another 3 months down the timeline and ask yourself what happened 3 months before that. And then float back another 3 months and ask yourself what happened 3 months before that. And then float all the way back to now. So I'd like you to look at your timeline and see a succession of images. The further away they are, the bigger they become. And in each one of those pictures, I'd like you to see yourself healthy, happy, and successful. And then brighten all those pictures up and make them solid. And float into that picture 3 months from now. And float into the picture 6 months from now. And float into the picture 9 months from now. And float into that amazing picture of your life 1 year from now. Healthy, happy, and successful. And then take all of those good feelings with you and float all the way back to now and look at your timeline. Look at your rich, rich life. See it extending out. And then put pictures 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, way off into the future of you, healthy, happy, and successful. Then, I'd like you to do this every day. Look at your timeline. Live your values. Because your life is going to become richer. money will flow to you easily. If there was any part of you that was stopping that happening, I'd like you to find new ways to achieve all the positive things that it does for you. And so money can flow to you more easily. You can imagine it flowing to you the way we did earlier. You notice how rich your life is. You literally say to yourself all the time, my life is rich. I am rich. I'm so happy. I'm so fulfilled. I'm so blessed. You feel grateful every day doing a gratitude list because you love and approve of yourself. You are always good enough and you deserve to be happier and live an even richer life. Your life will be richer than you had ever dreamed possible before because we have programmed it into your unconscious mind. You are going to live a richer life and become a happier person for the rest of your life. And you don't have to necessarily know right now how it is you're going to do that. Your unconscious mind will figure it out. Ways to experience the richness in each moment. Ways to make more money. But ways to feel rich because of all the good things in your life. Your friends, your opportunities, things you enjoy, your hobbies, your interests, your passions. And every delicious moment that life offers you. You will become a richer person for the rest of your life. Soon, it will be time to awaken from this experience, feeling refreshed, relaxed, and alert, calm and confident, with a renewed sense of optimism and deep inner joy. Coming back now, as I count back from 10 to 1, reinforcing every positive thought you've ever had about yourself. 10, 9, 8. That's right. Nearly back now. 7, 6, 5. Ooh, you might want to stretch and yawn as you awaken. 4, 3, 2, 1. Wide awake. Wakey, wakey. Oh, who feels good? If you're interested in learning the sort of things that I do as a coach to maybe help your clients, remember we do a certified and accredited hypnotherapy course that runs regularly, and I have so much fun. Anybody done that course, by the way? Oh! Right, well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, it really is. But it's also great to be here in the same room with you guys, meet you, and have fun. Thank you for being so engaged. Thank you to everyone who volunteered, by the way, and came on the stage. Have yourself a very rich life. I will see you soon. Be lucky, be happy, be blessed. Woo!